Hi everyone and welcome back to the Southerner's Northern Garden. I'm just doing a short check-in video today to say take time to enjoy your garden. I know this year I've been really busy doing lots of things, planning lots of things, and I've not really taken the time to sit down and enjoy the garden. So that's what I've been doing for the past week, and I'm going to keep doing it for a couple days. I never got the garden tour shot for July yet. Which has kind of disappointed me, and so it probably will not be a July garden tour. I'm probably just going to call it a summer garden tour. But I waited at the perfect time because in actuality, the 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 hydrangeas are bloomed out, the 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏s, and so they're beautiful. The 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏s are blooming out behind me. And so last year I did a July garden tour and an August hydrangea garden tour. So this will be a combination of both. The roses are flushing out again, as you can see here. So like everything, like this should be a really good garden tour, and it'll take some time to edit. So I'm not sure how many videos I'll be posting between now and then, but I also wanted to update you and tell you I picked out a tree for the side of the house. So a few videos ago, I did a tour of the trees in my garden, and I talked about adding a red bud between my house and my neighbor's house. I talked to them about it and they were fine with it, and so I went to Grandma's Gardens and picked out one called Burgundy Hearts, and so it's very similar to forest pansy. I don't know that it will get as big as forest pansy does, but it has a similar habit to forest pansy. So they had flagged Merlot for me at the garden center, and Merlot is also a beautiful red bud. But the issue was when I got there was the root ball was massive. And after planting the Coosa dogwood this spring, I decided I did not want to plant another root ball that big. And I've noticed that red buds tend to grow pretty quickly in our area, and so the rising sun that I planted last year actually put on quite a bit of growth this year. And so it's not a huge tree, but it's also not a smaller tree. It is bigger than the rising sun, but the root ball was very reasonable. It's probably a 10 to 15 gallon, pot size root ball, maybe even smaller. So it'll be much easier to get home, much easier to carry, and much easier to dig the hole and get in the ground. But like, look at these hydrangeas, guys. So everything is coming seriously into bloom right now, which is beautiful. I also want to show you the hibiscus because they've been blooming out a little bit. So when I talk a little bit about enjoying the garden, this is what I've been doing, just kind of walking around in the evening, looking at things, assessing things that might need help or assistance. But we've also just had some really hot weather, as I know a lot of part of the countries have. And so I've not been out and about in the garden like I would. And that's typically how this time of year goes. I'm not out and about as much, and you probably aren't either. But check out these hibiscus. So this is Cherry Choco Latte by Proven Winners. It has darker leaves, and look at these blooms. So these two, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know these were transplanted from over there behind the bench where I was just sitting at the beginning of this video. And they transplanted really wonderfully. They came back and they are huge this year. And so I did take a big root ball when I pulled those up, but it really, really made a difference. And so I'm really loving this, like the location of this. We also have some Rise Up Lilac Days roses blooming. So this is a new one from Proven Winners. Just has these delicate purple roses. It's just everything is coming. Like, this is the best time of the year for rebloom. Perennials are starting to rebloom again. Still absolutely in love with this calamint. I had some people asking about this in the last video. This is just a species variety, so 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, I believe it's called, and it has done wonderful. This is from plugs this first year, so really incredible growth. Then we have this 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, which is called Blue Marvelette, and so Great Garden Plants sent this out just to kind of get it in the garden. It smells wonderful, so it has that really minty smell if you rub your hands through it, but I also like the flowers. So they're a very light blue compared to these over here, which are white, which are also gorgeous. It's just a little different texture to brush up against this pathway here. The strawberries have come back into bloom, and I just showed a picture today on my Instagram of this vine called 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲. And so this is one plant. I planted it in this 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 garden bed down here. It's grown up and along both sides of the fence. Now, it's produced a ton of blooms and obviously seed from that, so I don't know about this reseeding. I'm hoping it's not going to be terribly invasive. It's beautiful, but I am concerned about it dropping seed and then it coming up everywhere. So we'll just have to see how that does. If you've grown 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 before and you experienced it being like super crazy invasive, please let me know, because that's something that I might be able to put down a little pre-emergent behind here next year or something to prevent those seeds from germinating if it is going to be that bad. It is beautiful, but like I said, this is one plant, and it's, I mean, we're not even through the end of the season. It's crawled everywhere. So it's crawling out into here, and I just need to come through and pull it up and keep it trained on the fence so it doesn't get out of control. We also had some Steve sunflowers bloom, and they're looking beautiful, so I've been enjoying those. I don't have a ton of blooms yet. This is one, it's really interesting. It's just yellow, but there's one up here that is probably my favorite so far. I've only got 2 blooms, but check out this one. This one's really beautiful, and it's probably about a week old now, so it's coming on with age. This is more what it looked like in the beginning. This has a double stalk here, and it might actually produce some more stalks off the edge, and we'll get even more blooms throughout the season. The dahlias are also going crazy. So I don't know about you, but I've had a really crappy vegetable garden year. I think I mentioned that in a video ago, just my seed starts didn't do great. But the vegetable starts in particular. Now the dahlias, I did a video on earlier this year when I planted them. I didn't know how they would do. I didn't take any care in like checking them over winter and storing them. But check it out, guys. They're doing really well. So we have some really beautiful ones here. I'm not sure of all the names of everything. I can probably dig around here and find this one. I never tied them up. So this one says it's Pinhill watermelon, which that's about right. It's a little smaller bloom than I thought it would be, but also still really lovely. I need to come in deadhead, so we'll keep getting blooms. But check out all of these beautiful blooms, guys. I don't know what this one is. I don't remember purchasing it, but it's really pretty. And this one Jess had sent over last year in honor of my Dachshund Harvey that I lost, and so everything's just looking really great. And I am going to have to come and strap these up because I'm afraid they will break if we get any high winds, and so they're just getting heavy enough that they're wanting to fall out of this bed. So I've got to address that as soon as possible because we don't want to lose any of those plants. And so that'll be something I probably come along this week and just put like tomato tie tape up. It's easy because it comes off easy at the end of the year. You could also just use regular string. I'm about ready to pull out these cosmos that I mentioned in the last video. We had a really strong storm come through the other day, and some of them fell over and they look kind of rough. So I may come through and pull out the ones that are fell over, leave some of the smaller ones because I still have some in here that look pretty good. I'm about to finally start getting zinnia blooms on a few plants that I planted throughout the garden, so that's exciting. But before this video gets any longer, because I wanted it to be a shorter one, I'm going to say goodnight, guys. Thank you guys for joining me, and remember, in a world full of hate, be a light. Take care and talk soon.